How many people have seen the 1-minute poster sessions? This is an absolutely fabulous part of Walk 21. It's the only reason we wanted to bring it to Vancouver. So I think we're going to have a timer. Each person comes up for 1 minute. I'm going to call the name out. They run up to the stage. I have an iPhone, which I borrowed. And they have 1 minute, and then we're just going to kind of walk them off the stage. After the poster people have presented, this is very serious work. They are classified the same as speakers at the conference. They're all going to have their posters set up in the atrium at lunchtime, and they welcome you to come and talk to them and learn more about this. And seriously, get your pens and papers out. This is where I've got some of the most extraordinary ideas that I've learned through Walk 21. So thank you for listening to this. And now the first person is actually a very experienced 1-minute poster presenter, and that's Tony Armstrong.
Hi everyone. First thing to say is the photo you're about to see bears literally no relation whatsoever to the poster that we've created. So that's to tantalise you, so you come along and see our poster because you have no idea what's on it. But to give you a clue, Living Streets is about 3 things. We campaign for better streets, we work with communities to engage them in decisions about their local neighbourhood, and we provide consultancy support to national and local governments. We're the oldest, largest, and possibly the best pedestrians association in the world. And our poster talks about our advocacy work and some of the successes through our campaigning. So come along and see it. Thanks.
You have an extra 20 seconds if you'd like to say anything more. Thank you, Tony. The second person is Baez.
Good morning, everyone. This presentation is about the first outdoor classroom for children with vision loss in Canada. Walking is something that most of us now take for granted, and for those of us lucky enough to be born with all 5 senses, walking came quite naturally after hitting a few tables and a bit of crying. So only those without 1 or more senses come to appreciate what the rest of us now take for granted. So I'd like to on behalf of Urban Systems and the Canadian National Association for the Blind, I'm proud to present this project located in Calgary. This is an urban space, especially designed for children with vision loss, where they can play, learn to navigate space, build confidence in a safe and interactive environment. I invite you to drop by the atrium by my board and allow me to share in greater detail some of the aspects of it.
Thank you. Great job. Daniel Fusca? Oh,
Kristie Daniels.
Kristie, you can. Go ahead. Kristie Daniels.
Commercial Street is a lively commercial center in Bangalore, and government officials were very interested in the idea of the street becoming pedestrian only. Previous studies had looked at customers and found that they were very supportive. So we interviewed merchants to find out what they thought of the idea. They hated it. They hated it passionately. One person even ran Manju out of his store. They think Commercial Street is fine and that no changes are needed, which is the first chart. And they were really worried about losing customers to malls. So we decided that we would go and interview mall customers to find out why they went to the mall, what it was about that experience that they liked, and what changes could be made to Commercial Street to entice them back, which would be the second chart. So our final recommendations included phasing in a pedestrian-only idea, making improvements to the street, and promoting the idea among shoppers.
Thank you so much, Kristie. Daniel Fusca.
Hi everyone. My poster presents my graduate research that I completed at the University of Toronto. I was really interested in 2 things. One was studying the impact of the proliferation of tall buildings in Toronto on the walking environment, and the other one was on looking at how urban design regulations were being successful or not at regulating that. And so I created an audit tool that generates a score, a walkability score for an individual building, and I audited 60 buildings in 2 study areas. And then I compared the results of the audit to the urban design regulations that existed at the time the building was built. So the results, I think, are really interesting because they say a lot about the planning system in Ontario as much as about tall building design. And so come and see me and I'll talk to you a little bit about it.
Thanks. You, Daniel. Ian Hosler.
Hi, I'm Hosler. I work with Walkable Edmonton in the Office of Great Neighborhoods in the City of Edmonton. Great neighborhoods, of course, are the building blocks of a lot of our wonderful cities. So when we were at Walk 21 in Toronto a few years back, we actually were looking for some community-based active living kind of interventions. We came upon the idea of developing a community-based walking map and piloted it with one of our community leagues, which we're very fortunate in Edmonton to have a very active community associations. So far we've developed 16 maps of 53 different neighborhoods ranging from very mature walkable locations to suburban neighborhoods, and just to work with communities to highlight what is walkable or in the pedestrian realm in their neighborhoods, answering the key question of if someone was moving into your neighborhood, what would you share? What are the nice places to walk to, or what are nice walks to go on? Some research by the School of Public Health showed that of the people who got a map, 48% actually used them and went walking in their neighborhoods. Of the people who didn't get a map, 100% wanted one.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Kristie House. John Ingram. Oh, you're
Hello.
here. Sorry, Kristie.
Yeah, I'm here.
Sorry.
That's okay. Hi, I'm Kristie Howes. I'm from Melbourne in Victoria in Australia, and my poster is about principal pedestrian networks. In Melbourne, we've just been developing the Roads Authority's been developing a smart roads framework, which is about identifying different parts of the network to prioritise for particular modes. Prior to developing this methodology, there wasn't really any methodology for creating a principal pedestrian network. We have well-established principal public transport network and a well-established principal bicycle network. So this is about developing a principal pedestrian network to support activity centres and movements to train stations. So it's about identifying the routes that are most likely to be used with the highest density of pedestrians and making those with the cooperative effort of local government and state government, making those most attractive.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Kristie. John. This is John Ingram.
Hi, my name's John Ingram, and I'm principal of a small multidisciplinary planning firm just down here on Water Street called EcoPlan. We worked with Transport Canada to produce this fabulous resource guide, Active Transportation in Canada, Planning and Resource Guide, looking at, benefits, rationale, opportunities, and trends. What sort of sets it apart is the wheel up there, because it's not so much, we kind of know what we can do in terms of active transportation, but if you're a lone planner in a small municipality, it's really sometimes a question of how. So we've got a little strategic planning framework up here with some very simple decision tools that they can use, because we figure a lot of planning is just about trying to make good and better decisions. And it soon will be available on Transport Canada's website. It's aussi dispensable en français. And if anyone wants a copy, come visit the poster and drop me a business card or send an email and we'll send you out a copy.
Thank you so much, John. Krisztina Kassay. Krisztina.
Thank you. Good morning. In front of you is an image of Pycnerbia. It's made of plywood and covered in yellow synthetic turf. Once put together, this modular structure resembles a series of waves that is 80 feet long, 12 feet wide, and 3 feet tall at its highest points. This August, Pycnerbia was placed in the middle of one of downtown Vancouver's busiest pedestrian thoroughfares, and it completely reshaped the way pedestrians use the street. Instead of passing through it as before, people now used it for meeting friends, sitting, reading, having coffee, even sunbathing. This was just one of 6 temporary street transformations that happened in Vancouver this year. All 6 were created through the City of Vancouver's new Viva Vancouver program, which used partnerships with various community groups to make temporary public spaces. Visit the City of Vancouver's Viva Vancouver poster today to learn about the highs and lows of the community partnerships that turned car spaces into people spaces.
Great job, Krisztina. Elysia Leblanc. Lisa.
Good morning. Welcome to Vancouver, and more specifically, welcome to False Creek. False Creek is the body of water that connects the southern part of the downtown peninsula to the neighborhoods of Kitsilano, Fairview, Mount Pleasant, and to destinations such as Granville Island and Science World. In False Creek, we, as was mentioned numerous times this morning, we have a wonderful seawall that borders False Creek all the way around the edge. What the ferry service in False Creek does is extend that seawall so that you're able to walk on water. It provides more than 1 million trips a year, service provided by 2 private companies that operate primarily off of docks that are public facilities. The service began in 1982, primarily as a recreational and tourist service, and has evolved to become more of an inclusive and accessible service as we see new dock facilities being constructed with new development. I look forward to speaking with you at my poster presentation and also to inviting you to a walk shop this afternoon or Wednesday afternoon to enjoy the view from False Creek.
Thank you so much, Lisa. Good timing. Elysia, Leung, and Jess Donaldson.
Good morning, my name is Elysia, and when my colleague Jess and I were developing our concept for this poster, we were new to living in Vancouver. And as avid pedestrians, we were searching for Vancouver's pedestrian realm and walking culture. So we really wanted to see what made Vancouver tick at 5 kilometers an hour. So to this end, we went out and surveyed a random selection of Vancouverites on the street and asked them, what is your favorite street for walking in Vancouver? And armed with our notebooks and our cameras, we went out and walked these streets. And our poster is basically, would you say, a photo montage of what we found out and our first impressions of walking in Vancouver. So please come visit us and share your impressions of walking in Vancouver with us. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Elysia and Jess. And Roger Mackett. Hi, Roger.
Right, good morning, I'm Roger Mackett. We developed a software tool called Elysia, Methodology for Enhancing Life by Increasing Accessibility, which we've used to establish the effectiveness of various policies for increasing accessibility for older people and people with disabilities. But we wanted to translate this into practice. We've done that through a consultation exercise, which you can see up there in the nuclear bunker under St Albans Civic Centre, just north of London. And we've kind of gone through a number of exercises, including virtual walks, various discussions around the table, and now this is all being incorporated into St Albans public realm strategy. So we're very excited to actually get research into practice, and I think that's something which is quite hard to do, and I'm very happy to talk to anyone who wants to about this whole exercise. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Roger. Margaret Manifold. Margaret?
Good morning. You're 84 years old, you've decided to give up the keys, and you live alone. Suddenly, the ability to walk to places becomes very important. You need to be able to get food. You need to be able to go to the doctors. You need to get to the bus stop. And you'd like to get down to the rec center to visit your friends and play a game of bridge. The walking environment is crucial. To create awareness, understanding, and ultimately to improve the pedestrian environment of the Edmonds Town Centre, we conducted a community accessibility assessment where we brought together seniors, people with disabilities, planners, engineers, and city politicians to do this assessment. And it took place in September 2010, and the dialogue continues at City Hall. It's been a fantastic project, and I invite you to come by and visit our poster. Thank you.
Thank you, Margaret. Margaret Manifold. Nancy McLean. Nancy.
I realize when I look at Huff Boulevard, it's not a trail that was created by two neighbors, it's a song. The members of the choir included the BC Transmission people, BC Hydro, the Corporation of Delta, Enlightened Engineers, Forest 2020, which probably imagined they were planting trees somewhere in northern BC, and the Institute of Urban Ecology. This green corridor now links neighbors, improves the neighborhood, which was a vacant lot where people dumped their greens. And now there's a new song that's being sung. The values that are increased are ecological and environmental. And the songs are from the birds, the children's laughing, dogs barking, neighbors laughing with their dogs. Do you hear that song too in your neighborhood? Do you think there are a couple of neighbors who might? I think I hear the song and remember my friend singing, "How can I keep from singing?"
Ah, Nancy, thank you. Rory Renfro.
Good morning. My name is Rory Renfro, and I'm with Alta Planning and Design in Portland. And about a year ago, we had an opportunity to work with the Abu Dhabi Urban Planning Council in the United Arab Emirates to master plan 3 new cities in the UAE, an area that is experiencing tremendous population growth. And it was a rare opportunity to get it right the first time, whether it's arranging the land use and transportation systems together, drilling all the way down to development guidelines and requirements for building the built urban form, getting down to the details of street design cross sections, and all the various elements that would really contribute to a world-class pedestrian environment and a world-class walking city. And it also included a various set of programs to deal with the unique cultural aspects that define these communities in the United Arab Emirates. So we invite you to swing by the poster, and we look forward to talking with you this afternoon. Thanks.
Thank you, Rory. Tiffany, Rutherford. You are.
Morning, everyone. My research I'm sharing with you today looks at the planning features and urban design characteristics that contribute to the high usage of urban parks and plazas. I looked at 3 open spaces in downtown Richmond. For those of you who are from out of town, Richmond is only about a 10-minute Canada Line ride from here. It's very close to us now. So 2 of the parks that I looked at are considered well used, while one is considered quite underused. I evaluated them based on a set of criteria, and from that developed recommendations for either retrofitting or even initial design considerations for later on. These are just a couple of photos that represent some of the positive and negative elements that either contribute to high or low usage. The middle photo at the top is just really quick, I'll talk about that. Gorgeous kind of variety, colorful vegetation behind those benches. In this park, people would always sit in these benches right next to them that had no vegetation behind them. No one ever sat in them. So that's just one of the really simple retrofitting ideas to increase usage. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of the conference.
Thank you, Tiffany. I think you did a wonderful job. Could all the poster presenters stand up for a second? Thank you.